So now I'm going to talk about all the problems that I had with this main event segment on SmackDown. First off, who was in the match? The Miz and Morrison lose. The team that is being groomed to face New Day for the tag team championships just lost a tag team match to Reigns and Daniel Bryan. And you know what? Two of the best performers of our generation, understandable. That being said, this could and should have been the Revival. Why? Because they're not being set up for a tag team title match with the New Day. So that's easy. You just don't have Miz and Morrison taking the loss here. Have the Revival do it. They're leaving anyway. Who cares? Roman Reigns picks Daniel Bryan. Sure, as I said, one of the best performers of the generation. Why not one of his cousins? That does seem a little bit weird.
The Usos probably can't get into Canada these days.
Well, there you go. Of course, they're not going to explain that on the air.
No.
But what they did explain on the air, Warren, was that Baron Corbin had been fined and was not allowed in the venue tonight. Now, Baron Corbin shows up and attacks Roman Reigns after this match. With what, Warren?
His scepter.
A scepter. Anybody here been through WWE security? He ain't getting that through. Maybe if he would have hit him with a replica Money in the Bank briefcase, maybe he gets through. So Baron Corbin apparently bought a ticket to this show because he was banned from the venue, brought in a weapon, rolled in, security didn't stop him, attacked Roman Reigns, and joins his throne, which is awaiting him on the ramp. Keep in mind, not supposed to be at the fucking venue! It is little things like this that mount up and make you wonder, how much attention is really being paid? Did Miz and Morrison need to lose here? No. Did they need to win here? No. You don't gotta, just because I'm saying they didn't need to get beat, does not mean that I say they should beat Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. It could have been the Revival. And people say, well, it's not a main event. Everybody knew they were going to lose. Well, you know what? You had a really good women's championship match that kicked off the show. It's not difficult. Everybody on this show has been 50-50 to death. And that includes the two generational performers that I just spoke about. Roman Reigns has been losing matches to Baron Corbin and getting one-upped by Baron Corbin here and there. Daniel Bryan lost a bunch of matches to The Fiend. And John Morrison, you know what? I got no problem with him getting thrown out by Brock Lesnar in the Royal Rumble. That doesn't bother me at all. But the guy beat Kofi Kingston and Big E in singles matches. And you turn around and you just have him and Miz lose a main event tag match. Why? Why did you need that? Did you need that? Because I don't think so. I think the Revival would have been good here. It could have been good in the middle of the card. Was the lasting image that you needed, was it really Baron Corbin standing tall? Because I think it's just as effective if it's Bayley and Naomi and Carmella at the end, whatever. And if they don't have the confidence in those three to do that, I don't know what to tell you. Because here's the thing, if I remove that outlier and I say, hey, who is the most interesting heel on SmackDown instead of the most interesting male heel? Well, that answers Bayley. And I don't know if that's a good thing based on the way that they've handled her. But the fact that she is the most interesting heel, despite how they've handled her, speaks volumes about this absolute dog shit storyline. And the thing is, with pro wrestling, I'm very forgiving. If it makes sense and it's okay to decent, I'm pretty stoked, man, because there's a lot of programming on. There's a ton. You got like 10, 12 hours every week that we cover. There's a lot. These guys have been feuding since like September or October. And it's going to continue through the end of this month at Super Showdown. Oh, and by the way, at least probably another week, if the preliminary advertising for Wells Fargo Arena is true, because they're going to be in the Elimination Chamber too. So you get another week of that. Cut the shit, man. It ain't working. You need to build a strong heel. And let me tell you guys, Sheamus ain't it. It worked 4 years ago when Sheamus came in and won the title. It worked for one match. It worked for the Roman Reigns match one time. Mm-hmm. That ain't your answer. I was shocked at how many people did not know what Marky Mark meant. They did not know. Do you know what it means, Denise?
No. I knew that was coming. I was like, dang, I should have Googled that before.
I'm so old.
I'm sorry. I when I heard that, I was like, oh, it has to be some sort of reference for something that I probably missed or didn't watch.
You know Mark Wahlberg used to be a rapper, right?
Well, no.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that.
Mark Wahlberg was a rapper in the early 90s. You could argue that John Cena's character, especially geographically, because Mark Wahlberg's from the Boston, Massachusetts area. Damn, man.
Wow.
It was largely based off of the Marky Mark character. He had a few hit songs, actually. You've never heard Good Vibrations?
Well, I've heard the song, but I guess I didn't really pay much attention to that.
Yeah, that's him.
Well, no, isn't good. I think I'm probably confusing it with a different song then.
You've heard this song. There's no way you have not heard Good Vibrations. Maybe you've heard Wild Side, I Need Money, You Gotta Believe, maybe. But by 92, they were cooked.
Why do I feel like I'm associating that with the Beach Boys?
Well, I'm sure there's like some shitty Beach Boys song. Name that too.
Okay, well, see, then that's when I think of that. Why don't my brain automatically?
You have,
but I don't know. Someone could correct me. Someone could correct me, but I don't know.
Listen.
So yeah, that reference just went
a lot of people are surprised to learn I'm 34, but man, I am shocked. I was 5, 6 when this came out. So you are probably not even born yet.
I was born in 92, so okay. I don't know.
This went number 1 in 91. But...
All right, see, there you go. You can't blame me.
Damn. Man.
Okay, so at least I wasn't the only one.
I mean, surely you know that his brother was in New Kids on the Block, right?
All right, that's it. I'm done. I need to go and like.
You didn't know that? You didn't know that?
I did not know that. I'm sorry. I need to go and like read up on Mark Wahlberg.
You work for AfterBuzz. You work for a giant pop culture outlet.
And I didn't know that.
What the hell is going on here? AfterBuzz, fly me in. I'm gonna take your job, Denise. What is going on here?
Oh my God!
Next time you talk to Sean Waltman, I want you to tell him that you didn't know that Marky Mark was a rapper.
I've learned a lot of things on that podcast, and one of them was the one that like I.
It's such a good vibration. Holy shit, you don't know that song?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
It's such a sweet sensation. Holy sh... That's for Hannah's super chat, by the way.
You know, yeah, I have no comment. No comment. Am I the only person on the chat? Like, is there anybody here on the chat that is like on my side here?
Now, see,
or am I getting ripped apart?
When I became shocked about this was there's a friend of mine, Dano, on Twitter, big Becky Lynch fan, who didn't know. And I was like, what? And I linked to the video thinking, oh, surely she knows. This will remind her. No, she doesn't know because she's not 30. So, man. Shane Haas says, I hope they do a Twins remake with Cena and Wahlberg. Oh, my God.
I was thinking that, though. I was like, man, they look alike. Okay, see?
Damn. This is going to be the latest epic triggered rant video.
Oh, no.
And those all do, let me just tell you, those all do numbers.
Oh, my God. I probably feel the way you do. When I asked my sister if she knew who Britney Spears was, and she was just kind of like, about it and didn't really like know or care. And I was absolutely in shock. So I feel like that's like how you must feel.
I feel like once upon a time when I was 15, I had my first conversation with a couple of Amish girls. That's how I feel right now talking to you. Because they were like,
oh my God.
Because they were like, ask us whatever you want. Because we were curious. We didn't know shit. And we're like, what do you all know about like pop culture? And they're like, well, we know who like Britney Spears is because we see her on magazine covers, but we've never heard her music.
So now I'm the Amish girl. Oh my God.
Man. Chris Ferris says, we need a supercut of all of Denise's failures at pop culture references. In addition to the Blue Chew spot. The Blue Chew one is coming. It is coming.
How about we just make a whole segment called Epic Fail of Denise Salcedo? So it's clearly like the only person living under a rock here.
Wait, do you know that the Wahlbergs...
I don't even want to answer any more questions.
Do you know that they're in the restaurant business?
No.
They had a TV show about it.
I'm done. Like, I literally apparently know nothing about
Wahlburgers. It's actually
there
pretty good.
I'm gonna like go learn everything about Mark Wahlberg right now.
Damn. Well, here we go. Bill Goldberg defeated the Fiend to become WWE Universal Champion for the second time. So therefore, Goldberg has had more title reigns in his comeback than Shawn Michaels did in his comeback. Just for perspective.
Makes sense to me.
There was a spear. There was a mandible claw. 3 more spears. Another mandible claw. And it looked like a hip toss to me, but we're going to call it a jackhammer. And I get it. You guys are trolls. That's your whole gimmick. Because you all don't have to show up here on Friday night and cover what happens. Jeremy gets to just clickety-clack on that keyboard. Doesn't have to sit here looking at a camera for an hour, staring at Warren Hayes' dumbass hair.
Oh, you're just taking unnecessary shots at Warren now.
This is okay, it's not the dumbest shit, because Goldberg is over. Cool. How many times can you rely on this story?
As many times as the ratings stay the same.
That's why they're so fucked up. They have not built anybody, and they had one. People want to like Bray Wyatt. They want to like him for whatever reason, and they fucked it up like 6 months ago. They fucked it up when they put the advertisement out there, Fiend in a WWE Championship match. Oh, wow. And they didn't just go back and say, whoa. That leaked early, card subject to change. We don't have to put him up against Seth Rollins and have him eat 742 stomps. We don't got to run it back in Saudi. We don't got to do any of that.
Thank you for at least saying that they screwed it up 6 months ago. People are saying like, oh, they really screwed it up by now taking the the Fiend has been
long
dead
gone.
for
Yeah.
months.
No, they fucked him up long ago.
Yes,
Way long ago.
Like that's why I find this hilarious, though. Of like, sure, just put the title on Goldberg because the Fiend is dead already.
If they wanted him to be a heel so bad, he should have been the one to beat Kofi Kingston. It should have been him. And then Brock Lesnar stays on Raw with the goddamn briefcase that he didn't need to cash in. Seth Rollins goes so goddamn paranoid that Brock Lesnar's running around with a briefcase that he gets AOP and Buddy Murphy to help him out. And he becomes a crazy psychotic dick. Then at least you have some flexibility with Brock Lesnar in the briefcase. You have maybe the Fiend gets booed. Still probably not, because he's a cool character. Was a cool character. Now he's back to being a fucking nerd who majors in audio visual. Like, that's it.
And construction.
He built a new fun house. He's some cross between Dr. Doolittle and Mr. Rogers talking to these animal puppets.
And Tim Allen.
Sure.
He's
more of an Al Borland. But then
That's
again,
fair. That's
he's
fair.
kind of like a Wilson because he pops up and he's like, "Heidi ho,
How
neighbors."
dare you compare him to the great Wilson?
I mean, now I get it. There's gonna be a lot of people. Oh, money, money, money! Quit acting like you all are investors in WWE shitty stock right now. WWE doesn't. It's not that they can't build new stars. They won't. They won't. If Conor McGregor had lost a bunch of fights at the beginning of his UFC career, I get the feeling nobody would have given a shit about him that much. He's a made man now because he was a winner then. Bray has never consistently been that. Never.
You
Joe,
do this with
troll me a
everyone.
little bit. Let Joe talk. Let Joe talk.
I'm with you 100%.
You
Okay,
damn right you are.
this is indicative of major issues in which every year they paper over massive cracks every single year. Okay, I'm like Jeremy. At this point, I was ready to see the Fiend thing just wrap up, so I'm not bothered about this.
Yeah.
However, yes, there is a problem because there is only so many matchups of guys that were like central in the industry 10, 15, 20 years ago that you can just keep cycling through, right? Like at some point, I assume at some point this is all going to come to a head because I don't know how much longer you can do this. However, if we're just talking in the short term, it has no effect on me whatsoever. Long term, it's the latest example of them just totally misreading the situation. But that's the truth is, the true point of it is the Fiend died when the whole Seth feud happened, as you said. So that's the real problem, right?
And they're going to use it to try to get Roman Reigns over more because that's what they always go to. They're like, well, we got Taker, we've got Brock, we've got Goldberg. Here we go. Reigns is already over. He's already over. My God. Also, let me just say, Bill Goldberg sucks in the ring. He is so bad.
I suggested on the distraction cheap plug that he has gotten worse, and Jeremy absolutely shot me down, and he fueled me for a very positive feature. And I was watching this thinking he has definitely got worse.
Yes.
He is 100% declined in the last 3 years. I feel.
Oh yeah. Oh, it definitely doesn't
Like,
hurt when he runs his fucking head into doors.
Did you not see how safe he was with Bray Wyatt on that jackhammer? He took a good minute to make sure he was in a good position to get him up there and make sure Bray was going to be safe.
It reminded me of like a few months ago. I got back in the gym, hadn't been able to do it for a while. I used to have a really nice box jump. And I looked at the old box jump I used to do and I said, I think maybe I can. That's what Bill Goldberg did. He hooked the head and he was like, yeah, well, no, let's just adjust right here. Let's maybe one of those. It sucked. And I mean, listen, people will call me a homer. They'll call me biased. People would at least be interested in watching Matt Riddle face Bill Goldberg, and it would develop a new star. I'm not saying that Matt Riddle should be WWE champion. I think he's a guy that never needs to win that title to be over. I think he's that level. Roman Reigns versus Bill Goldberg is a spectacle, but I don't think it's a spectacle where you need a title. It's the same shit as when Brock Lesnar faced Cain Velasquez. Brock Lesnar did not need that championship.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar got his ass whipped IRL by Cain Velasquez. You've got the two most famous users of the spear right now. Just run the gimmick. Run the gimmick. And then you've got The Fiend and John Cena, and everybody remembers when Bray Wyatt got beat by John Cena, and everybody kind of knew that Bray was fucked then. And John Cena could be going after his 17th world title. The story writes itself. Why do they complicate this shit so much? And it's been specifically on SmackDown of late.
That's why Matt Hardy's getting the pencil.
I wish Matt Hardy would get the pencil. I wish they'd give him a fucking Sharpie. That way they couldn't erase whatever it is that he does. God,
I'm honestly...
It's so frustrating, guys, because Raw, quite frankly, in 2020, has been pretty good. I've enjoyed covering the show. Humberto Carrillo, be damned. But then I got to watch this shit on Friday, and I pride myself on being fair and being like, you know what? It's a new week. What do we got? It's a new week. Oh, look at that. Reigns and Corbin again. That's a fun one. Hey, this Fiend guy, they spend an awful lot of time on this guy. Oh, it's Goldberg.
I love your passion on this when I know for a fact Jeremy's reaction was exactly the same as I am, which was like just a brief chuckle and then just like, okay, away we go, move on.
Yeah.
I admire the passion. I'm with you. SmackDown is very bad. Very bad.
I just know that WrestleMania review's coming, and it's a 2-hour show for me after watching a 6 or 7 hour show, after getting off a flight from Tampa, after a week full of stuff. Oh my God.
You'll be hanging out with me in Tampa, though.
I will be.
We're gonna have a great time.
I will be. You think WWE will let us on the red carpet for the Hall of Fame?
No.
I'll show up there in my gear. I'm getting a match at Sean Ross Sapp Served Hall. It's happening. I'm gonna make it happen.
I'm trying to be booked. I know people, and I can't get booked.
Wow.
Well, you know what? Get on your trampoline with your weights, do your little jumping jacks, and we'll get you booked. Damn. This is just so frustrating. And, like, I think there is a place for the story of the old-ass guy who sucks at wrestling but is very famous to become a champion. I think there's a story in that. And you know what? They told that story.
ROH tells it.
They told the story 3 years ago. What is it?
ROH just told it.
Yeah, they did. ROH just told it. Right now, fuck, look at our world champions, guys.
Yeah, that's actually the truth, because we did this whole thing 3 years ago, right? This is the thing that's crazy. It's like an endless cycle. Like, for those of us that watch during the rest of the year, we see all these other faces, but when it comes to Road to WrestleMania, it's like the same cycle just looped back over and over again.
Do you remember
We're building to a Roman win. It's like the same thing, you know?
Do you remember when George Foreman won the world boxing title and WWE was like, shit, get the title on Backlund, quick. Like, we got to get it on an old guy. Who do we have that can still wrestle? Bob
George
Backlund.
was a better promo, though, to be fair, than Goldberg.
Backlund was perfect for him. It didn't seem shoehorned in. Because you looked at Backlund and you're like, that son of a bitch is crazy enough to beat Bret Hart. But then Diesel ran through him, and they made a new star immediately off of him. I like Roman Reigns. I really, really enjoy him, especially since the Undertaker thing. They have just a marked improvement over not making him go out there and talk for 10 to 15 minutes. It's been a drastic improvement, much more tolerable. But now they book him in all these dumbass stories, and I don't know, man. I'm just like, Goldberg Reigns writes itself without the title. Cena Fiend doesn't write itself nearly as much without the title, because you have Cena's history there. You already have the history between the Fiend and John Cena, but why would Cena seek out somebody that he's already beaten? I don't know, man. I guess maybe I'll get answers on Friday, but I'm reacting as if this is the night that wrestling died 7.
I think that we're going to go back to the Bray tradition of him just like randomly attacking someone and then explaining it the next week of a 12-minute promo. So congratulations, Sean. That'll be what you'll be getting tomorrow night on SmackDown.
Boy, you know what? I can't wait. I can't wait until we get Aleister Black, Bray Wyatt, those nonsensical bullshit, just annoying promos.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Aleister Black appears from just dark matter. That's what he said yesterday on the bump, that he's just supernatural. I didn't know this was a thing.
Man, you watching the bump is a true example of your professionalism. Man. I respect that. Honestly, I do.
I like a lot of the people that work on that show, but I got through about 5 minutes of them talking over each other and clapping into the mic like this, and I was like, man, I can't do it. I can't do it. And like
I got quotes to write, guys. I got quotes to write.
That is a good point. So right now we have PCO, 52 years old, world champion. WWE said, put it on a 53-year-old. Chris Jericho's 49, AEW champion. Brock Lesnar's like 43, I think.
Oh. Wow, we're one Tim Storm roll-up away from the full.
Yeah, no, he can no longer compete for the NWA World Title.
True. But if there was any justice, we would have the full. You know, like we would have completed it, right? That would be the end.
And Nick Aldis has held his championship, I think, since Goldberg was last champion. At least it feels that way. Damn. Thermostat Mind says, love when you go full Alex. Seriously, though, I believe we all agree with your take. Thanks for the justified anger. I don't get like this much. It's just, it's so short-sighted to me. And it's transparently short-sighted.
Yeah, there is a truth as well to that whole thing where people go, who's the biggest star? And it's like, well, yeah, that's the whole point of what the argument is, right? Like, the idea is you use the bigger star to make the other guy now a bigger star. That's the whole point of but some people have they've reached a point where, look, let's be clear about this. Me and Jeremy we're very clear with this, okay? We're not saying this is good. We're saying we enjoy it, okay? Big difference.
Because you guys are trolls.
Yeah, but that's
you guys
all
are fucking trolls. That's
there will
why.
be people in every one of our replies this evening that are telling us that every part of this was like actually good and legitimately is smart and on point. And that's the issue, right? We're just having fun.
You two are the kids that did a dance to the Crazy Frog song. All growed up.
What?
You go look it up. Go look at kids dancing to the Crazy Frog song. That's you two with beards. And people in our chat will know what I'm talking about. These two, I think, I always got to go the opposite direction. These two are trolls.
But, we're not hurting anyone here, Sean. We're just enjoying ourselves. We're just enjoying the jackhammer. We're, the 6 spears. It's good fun for us, This is our escape, right, Jeremy? This is what we enjoy, the Goldberg matches.
Sean, you have us on the roster. So, I mean, what does that make you?
Somebody said, maybe Bray is hurt. He ain't more hurt than Goldberg is.
Goldberg's in agony right now.
So, Roman Reigns, for whatever reason, it doesn't matter why, what precipitated him not being WrestleMania. He said, hey, I'm immunocompromised after dealing with leukemia. I don't think it's wise for me to be in this environment where somebody might have it and pass it to me, and then I got kids, and I'm not gonna risk anything, so I'm not doing WrestleMania. Whatever precipitated him to make that decision doesn't matter. We found out about that before last Friday's show. They found out about it before we found out about it. Last Friday's show happened. They still advertised. Next week, Roman Reigns is going to face Bill Goldberg for the Universal title. As late as this morning, he was still all over the promotional stuff you would find for WrestleMania this morning. Obviously, Roman Reigns isn't going to be in the match versus Bill Goldberg. They know that. And we, if we're paying attention, if we're the kinds of people who are dedicated fans, we either saw the report or know somebody who saw the report and then told us Roman Reigns is out of Mania because of the coronavirus. Like, he doesn't have it, but he's worried about getting it, so he's out. So they need somebody to face Bill Goldberg. The report came out almost immediately after we found out Roman was out that Braun Strowman was in. We knew about this, again, before last week's SmackDown. So we all had faith, I think, that they would figure out a way to film an angle where either like Braun attacked Roman or Roman pulled out for the very reason. And then Bill's like, okay, who's next? And Braun's music hits and says, I'll take you on. You want to get these hands? And Bill says, okay. Even that. We all thought anything was going to happen, to take place, to be shown to us on tonight's broadcast one day before WrestleMania begins. we all thought some angle was going to be used to write Roman out and Braun in. We all believed that. We were wrong. We were played for suckers. Just when you thought that they couldn't get any lazier, you realize that there's no bottom to their slothful depravity, no depth to which their torpidity will not sink, taking pure inertia to heretofore unheard of realms of simply not giving a shit. I give you the WWE. Tonight, right after giving an update on Elias, who was pushed off a balcony by Baron Corbin last week, we don't know. Perhaps Elias won't even be cleared to have his match with Baron Corbin tomorrow night. And then Michael Cole says, and also tomorrow night, we know that Bill Goldberg will now be taking on Braun Strowman for the Universal Championship. And that's it. That's the announcement. That's the angle they worked. That's the angle they came up with to write out the biggest star in the fucking company out of the WrestleMania main event match with a Hall of Famer. They bring in somebody else via Stinger. That's what it's called in the biz. When they do like a little, hey, tune in tomorrow night for whatever. That's called a stinger. And that's what they did. That's how they figured out what to do about this conundrum. Well, Roman's out. We got to replace him with Braun. Okay, cool. Should we do anything? Should we write anything about why that happened? Nah. Let's not do anything at all. We'll just have Michael Cole say that Braun is now wrestling Goldberg. Should we mention that it used to be Roman who was wrestling Goldberg? Nope. Don't even mention Roman at all. Like, if they were any lazier, they'd be lying on the floor. Lying on the fucking floor. I don't think there's a floor. They live in a bottomless pit of laziness. Here's the thing. WrestleMania is for your casual fans, right? This is the time of year when you want everybody to be watching, to tune in. Hell, it's the fucking pandemic on. There's no live sports to watch. Everyone's stuck at home. You want them to be watching this show. You have people who are going to be watching going, hey, I heard last week Roman Reigns, this guy that I heard of, I watched The Shield a few years ago. I really liked that guy. I'm a lapsed fan, but I'm tuning back in now because, I'm stuck at home on Friday nights. So I heard Roman Reigns is wrestling Goldberg. I remember him from WCW Nitro. That's crazy. That guy's still around. That's awesome. I can't wait to see that match. That person tunes in tonight and is not given any explanation why Roman Reigns isn't in the match and why Braun Strowman is. None. How do you think that's a... And like if that wasn't bad enough, earlier this week, Triple H gave gave an interview. About this situation. He says, and I quote, "It's a funny thing." Hilarious. Trips, just hilarious. "It's a funny thing. I think you can watch our business in multiple different ways. And one of them is the storyline aspect. Another way is the online component and the reality behind it." What he's saying is a lot of people know what's going to happen ahead of time because they, things get leaked and all that kind of stuff, So you know what's going to happen, but you're not sure how it's going to happen, so you tune in and watch that. So Roman has a situation and his reasons for doing the things that he's doing. Fine. But I will say, from our standpoint and from a storyline standpoint, this is what he says. It's going to play out in a unique manner, and we want it to play out that way. It's not necessarily putting me out in an awkward position. For me, it's saying, I don't want to give away the ending of the movie before the movie takes place. So I think everyone just has to watch and see how this unfolds. But it will unfold in a unique way, and it will be meaningful for everybody. There will always be critics, and we're doing the best we can. Really, Paul? Really? Really? This is the best you could fucking do? Michael Cole saying, oh, by the way, Bill Goldberg is now taking on Braun Strowman. And that's it. That's the best you could fucking do? Then fucking quit. If that's the best you can fucking do, everybody at your fucking company should fucking quit. If that's the best you can fucking do. But it's not the best you can fucking do, Paul. It's not. You can do a lot better, but you're not. You're not doing any better. I don't know why. I don't know why you would choose to do this. I don't know why. I mean, here's the other thing that we're not even talking about, that Braun Strowman hasn't been seen on television since he lost the Intercontinental title in that handicap match to Sami Zayn in his first ever Intercontinental title defense. He hasn't been seen on television. We don't know what's going on with him. We don't know where he's been, why he's been off TV, what he's been thinking, what his reaction is to having lost that match, to having been removed from that title picture entirely. Why does he, a guy who hasn't been on TV, who you haven't even bothered to write a storyline for, why does he get this shot at Goldberg's title? Why? I mean, there's no other alternative. That's the guy I would put in there, but I would write a fucking storyline for him. I might have checked in on him in some kind of pre-taped Skype interview or something, where he says, "Oh yeah, Michael Cole, I've been licking my wounds here in North Carolina, but man, next time I get in that ring, someone's gonna get these hands. I'm gonna get you next time, Sami Zayn." Like, I don't know, something like that. Or if you don't want to be a babyface in this match for Goldberg, you have him do something like, "Next time I get in the ring, someone's gonna get these hands, and they might not get up." Something like that. I don't know. Something. I don't know. What do you want to do? Something. You pick it, but do something. Here's what you get to choose, whatever you want to do to figure out why Braun is in this match. Make him a heel, make him babyface, have him attack Roman, which is what I would have done. Have him say, "I told you I wasn't finished with you." Then you have him crush Bill Goldberg. And then when Roman comes back, you immediately have Roman versus Braun Strowman. You get back to that amazing feud they had in 2017. That's what you do, because that's fucking smart. But you don't even have to do it that way. You could figure out any other way you wanted to go. However you wanted to write a storyline for how Braun gets into the match. But here's what's not an option. What's not an option is doing fucking nothing, which is what you fucking did. You did fucking nothing. Like, the only thing that would be less of nothing is if we tuned in tomorrow and you were promoting Goldberg versus Roman Reigns for the entire show. And then for the main event, you had Goldberg come down to the ring, and then you had Braun's music hit instead of Roman's. And Braun comes down and has the match, and you never mention why Braun is in the match instead of Roman Reigns. You never mention it. That's the only way you could be doing less than you're doing right now. I want so badly to like this product. I want so badly to see anyone putting in any effort. I mean, I can only imagine that they filmed something, but it didn't work right with what they were. I mean, here's what I think happened. I think they filmed something that made Braun look like the baby face, like something somebody would want to cheer, and then they were like, oh no, scratch that. Actually, we want to keep the title on Goldberg for a while. Because we think there's a good chance we're not going to be able to tape shit after Mania. Not really. But maybe like once a month or something. And so we think it's better if there's no TV. We think it's better for the title to be on Goldberg, a Hall of Famer, somebody with some name recognition, rather than Braun Strowman, a guy who we've misused for several years. So, I know we taped this thing where Braun looks like a hero, and we definitely want him to win. Like Roman says, does a promo to nobody, because it's an empty arena. He says, I got to pull out because of my family. I think it's best, I'm not going to do this. And then Goldberg comes out after Roman leaves and says, pussy. Something like that. Something to get him super, super over as a heel. And then Braun comes out as the conquering hero and says, I'm going to put you down, old man, because that's bullshit what you just said about Roman Reigns. And then after they filmed that, they were like, "Oh crap! No, we actually want Goldberg to be the good guy here, because we want people to like that he has the title, because we're gonna keep the title on him." Yep. So that whole angle we wrote and shot, scrap it. What are we gonna do instead? Nothing. Like, I honestly feel like that's the only pot. If you actually wrote nothing and shot nothing, it's inexcusable. It's irredeemable if you wrote nothing and shot nothing to cover for the biggest match card change that I can even recall. To write nothing and shoot nothing, to not even mention Roman's name when you mention that Goldberg is now facing Braun Strowman. If you wrote nothing and shot nothing, I swear to fucking Christ, you should all be fired. Like I said, if this is really the best you can do, you should all fucking quit. So yeah, I think Goldberg is winning this fucking match versus Braun Strowman. And if you thought that John Cena beating Bray Wyatt buried Bray Wyatt, just wait and see what happens when Goldberg beats Braun Strowman in less than 3 minutes, because that's as long as Goldberg can go without collapsing. You're going to have Goldberg squash Braun Strowman, and then at any point in the future, you're going to want to book Braun like a monster again. And I'm going to say to you, go fuck yourself. End of epic triggered rant. Hope you all enjoyed that. I'm going to be back on here with Sean and Warren Hayes. Talk about Mania Night 1 and Night 2. Normally when I do a regular post show, I try and tone down my epic triggeredness. But I'll tell you, man, there are some decisions they could make in the booking of some of these matches that I don't know that I'm going to be able to contain myself. So I think you know what those decisions are. And if one of those decisions happens on Saturday or Sunday, make sure you tune in to the post show to see the fucking fireworks.
So as we know, Roman Reigns pulled out of WrestleMania, and it's not a secret. We have the video up on youtube.com/Fightful of him explaining about, vaguely explaining. He didn't want to go into too much detail. I don't need a detail. I don't need an explanation from Roman Reigns. He can pull out of this if he wants. It's life or death. But this week, Triple H said in an interview with Ariel Helwani, quote, "I will say from our standpoint and from a storyline standpoint, it's going to play out in a unique manner, and we want it to play out that way. It's not necessarily putting me in an awkward position. For me, it's saying, I don't want to give away the ending of a movie before the movie takes place. So I think everyone just has to watch and see how this unfolds, but it will unfold in a unique way, and it will be meaningful for everybody. There will always be critics, and we're doing the best we can." End quote. So, Warren, the announcement of Braun Strowman as Goldberg's replacement was unique in that it was uniquely lazy. They just randomly, after bringing up Elias and Baron Corbin, snooze, say, yeah, now Goldberg will defend against Braun Strowman. Pardon me? Unique. Unique, Warren. Now, maybe something changed, as things often do in WWE. But I had to go back. I had to rewind 7 minutes because I missed it. I've been so conditioned to tune out these graphic promos to catch up on the live blog or stats or whatever it is. I had to go back and look. And I was like, really? It was just that? And I had people saying, like, surely they aired this out of order or something. No, because Braun Strowman wasn't on the show. And it wasn't last week or the week before that. My God. You had him there to tape the match, presumably. For the love of God, just make it look like he attacked Roman or did something. This is why we go off on WWE about this stuff, because it's lazy. It's offensive how lazy it is. It's an insult to the intelligence of people, and I get it. They are backed into a corner here, and it is not an optimal situation, but you know what? Non-optimal situations happen all the time, and despite the non-optimal situation you're in, you're still having WrestleMania. So if you're going to have WrestleMania, at least think up an excuse. Warren, how do you feel about this?
A couple of ways. I, of course, have no issues with Roman pulling out as well. That's fine. I don't have any necessary issues with Braun going up against Goldberg because who's your other option really on SmackDown? That's a whole other discussion. The reason why we're so wrong choice of words. The reason why we're so easily capable to find fault or get really irritated with what WWE does is because WWE, and this is something I've said multiple times, the biggest wrestling company in the world, It is a multi-billion-dollar corporation. It has hundreds of people under its employ. And I'm not just talking talent. I'm talking writers. I'm talking producers, live crew, TV people who know how to run a live event. I completely phase out any WWE staff, fan, personnel, whoever tells me we put on 8 hours of live programming a week. Yeah, but you guys have the resources to put on 8 hours of live programming a week. You have a writer's room of people who are supposed to sit down, come up with ideas, write out scripts, pass them along, have everything approved, and be ready for the show, and everything should be good. This is why we sort of lose our minds when these types of situations happen. Bear in mind, if suddenly Braun Strowman was Baron Corbin's opponent because Elias was pulled out and they announced it tonight, we wouldn't be flipping out like this. This is the Universal Championship. In the eyes of Vince McMahon, this is the top title of the company. It is currently in the hands of Bill Goldberg because they wanted a marquee match with Roman Reigns. It's not happening. But you still have to give us the marquee match. This is still a wrestling company. It's a wrestling promotion. You have to give us a main event that we are going to care about, or a whatever, even if it's not an official main event, a big title match that we'll care about. What is there to care about this? Especially since Braun hasn't been on TV since he lost the Intercontinental Championship. I mean, I'm okay with him being on WrestleMania fighting Goldberg and not Tyson Fury. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. And I'm glad that Braun is finally getting something to sink his teeth into at WrestleMania. Don't get me wrong. The thing here is that WWE has their back against the wall and they're not helping themselves. They're not giving themselves a chance for people to get excited about this. It's more like letting the air out of the air mattress just before you're about to jump onto it. It's just as simple as that.
Oh, don't you dare, because I will go, like, you know when you said you delete people for certain reasons on Facebook? You have no idea how many friendships I have ended. If you do not like Taylor Swift, you don't like me. That's the rule. People, if they don't like Taylor Swift, they have to respect it and keep that opinion to themselves, because I will lose my SHIT, okay? You do not mess with my queen, Taylor freaking Swift. I'm sorry, but that's where I draw the line.
Oh, let's talk about it. This is going to be another entry into the epic triggered rant. We don't do much of these days because I'm like so over WWE booking that they can't epically trigger me anymore. But this did it. And it did it because we fucking knew it was coming, Jeremy. We knew it was going to happen. And so did the people here. Drew Nicholas says, people calling winning streak Bianca losing to losing streak Bayley a good way to continue the feud really have drank the WWE lazy booking Kool-Aid. WWE thrives and survives on just lazy-minded people that are like, let it play out. This is the story. Bayley, the story is that Bayley can't win without Sasha. The story. No, they don't have a fucking story. Come on, don't be obtuse. It's ridiculous. Jeremy, do your bit. I know you want to troll.
I don't even remember what it was.
You know this is stupid.
Oh, wait. I know it. I know the bit.
You know
Sean,
that.
she was the SmackDown Women's Champion for 500 days. All right? You know, because Bianca lost to her, it's not that big of a deal. All right? Bianca's winning. What's her biggest win, Sean? Zelina Vega? Is that her biggest win? That's who she's beaten. Bayley was a
Sam Roberts champion. Sound like Sam Roberts, like making sense of this. And bless Sam. I love Sam Roberts, but man, that was come on now. Bayley lost to Natalya clean a few weeks ago. Oh.
Yeah, and Bianca beat Natalya like the week before.
Yes, and I know MMA math doesn't exactly work, but hey, you know what? Bayley has not won a match before tonight since August. It is so stupid. It is so frustrating. It is just so creatively bankrupt to do this shit. Bayley wins with an eye gouge and a rose plant. They ran these friggin' vignettes for weeks and weeks and weeks about how much smarter, about how much more cunning, about how much more athletic, about how much faster and stronger Bianca Belair is. And then I thought they capped it off with that brilliant one, just about how much smarter she was than everybody. And then she gets hit with the old eye gouge and the rose plant, and whoosh, she had not been pinned since she had been on the main roster. And that's more impressive than it sounds, because unfortunately, WWE, as creatively bankrupt as they are, what they love to do is, oh, you know what? This person has high upside. We don't want to beat them. So instead of having them win matches on TV weekly, we just take them off TV because they don't trust themselves to go 2 weeks without fucking up booking. They can't trust themselves to go 2 weeks without screwing up somebody creatively. So they're like, just take them off TV because it's not their time right now. It's not their time yet. We saw it with AOP. We saw it with Bianca Belair. We saw it with so many people. They're just off television the entire time. Then they pop up a week or two. This is so stupid. Bayley got no wins to build up to this feud. So now Bianca Belair loses to woman who had historic title run, couldn't win lately. And I had doofuses that said, oh, well, that was the story. That was the story. She can't win without Sasha. Where's Sasha? Sasha's out there hitting tornado DDTs on Boba Fett today.
Spoiler alert. Come on now.
Piss off. Come on.
Some people haven't seen the episode.
Shut up. I don't care. Jeremy, Justin Lopez says, I am so livid, join the club, over that Bayley Bianca finish. Of course, I've been arguing with a-holes telling me, oh, it wasn't clean, she raked the eyes. Well, you know what's going to happen, Jeremy? Bianca's going to pin her on Sunday or next Friday or the Friday after that, or eliminate her from the Royal Rumble, and I'm going to have people say, well, there you go, it's okay. And we're going to sit here and wonder why WWE draws in a oh, wait, no, it's on FS1 tonight. So it's going to be like 12 people that watch the show. And there will be some people that tell me, Jeremy, oh, it doesn't matter. Nobody watched that show. It was on FS1. It doesn't count. Come on. Say something about this before I...
This is why they're in the position they're in. Everyone is just in the same spot.
They are who we thought they were.
Yes. Everyone's just in the same spot. It's just 50-50 to death. Everyone. We talked about this for weeks, Sean. We said the way you book this match is either Bayley wins and Bianca gets beat by someone who's just lost a bunch of matches, or Bianca wins and she just beat a loser, just adds another loss. And then you got the worst part, maybe not the worst, a terrible part about this is Corey Graves screaming, Bianca's a loser, Bianca's a loser, she's terrible, she just lost to Bayley. Don't call these people losers like that. We get it. They lost this wrestling match. Don't scream that they're losers because it doesn't help them at all. It's horrible. Absolutely horrible. We knew this is what they were going to do. Why do you get triggered by this stuff, Sean?
I don't anymore.
This is your issue. This is not a WWE issue. This is Sean Ross Sapp issue.
I already putting together the Epic Triggered Rant 2020 compilation. Last year it was like 20 clips. This year it's like 5, and one of them is a 20-minute Alex rant. I'm so over it. There's nothing left.
Is the Goldberg Fiend rant?
Yes, of course it's on there. Don't be ridiculous. Ray Callahan says, money for the rant. Appreciate both of you. Go Bulls. The Jam on Ryan B. James says, I want to hear Sean rant about that Anurag guy on Twitter who threatened to unfollow him. Yeah, he said, I'll unfollow you then. And then he comes back to call me an AEW fanboy. Yeah, AEW's a better show. Sue me.
Not this week.
SmackDown was better than AEW this week. I liked it more. But then I got people online saying, if it was a DQ, you would have complained. Oh, hold on.
For
If it
glass
was a
leg.
DQ, you would have complained. If it was a count, you would have complained. Bailey hasn't won in a while. People keep complaining. It's a no-win situation.
It's fake. It's not real. They get to decide who wins tonight, who won last week, who wins the number of matches that lead up to this. Stop saying that shit. They book this. This isn't, again, the World Series. They're not going to go to jail for fixing the results, Jeremy.
Sean, you watch our Booty Pro Wrestling stream, right? I think you would admit that Joseph and I are excellent bookers who don't book ourselves into a corner at all. You can put people in different positions and make people shine here. You do not have to have Bailey lose for 6 months before she loses this match. You don't even have to do this match, Sean. That's a dirty secret right there. They didn't have to do this match at all. They could have done this match later when they've built them up to more wins. They don't have to book the stuff that they do. They just do it because they're bankrupt creatively, and they're just like, we're just gonna run the same matches out there for 5 months. You're right, we're gonna get Bailey and Bianca. It's either gonna be added to the pre-show at 5 p.m. on Sunday, or they're gonna do it next week, and Bianca will probably win, and people are like, see, she won clean. Bailey tried to cheat. Bianca outsmarted her. She's the smartest. It's all good. And then they're going to do a third match, and they're going to do a fourth match, and a fifth match, and a sixth match. And they're just going to keep doing these matches until they just decide, now's the time. This is the last time ever. That's how they end feuds now, Sean. You can rip a man's eye out. That's not the end of the feud. You end a feud by saying 3 hours before the show, last time ever. And then the feud's over. That's how they book everything, Sean.
Oh, man. Nerd Guru says, Bianca and Keith Lee have to be the worst call-up failures in recent memory. By recent, I mean since Alistair and Ricochet, which is last year. Yikes. They had Alistair go on a year-long winning streak, and they didn't mention it. They accidentally gave this guy a one-year winning streak, and they didn't do anything with it. They just forgot. They were like, oh, yeah, we've got something. We're all right on him, so we're going to keep him winning. We're not going to have him lose, but, oh, wait, we're Heyman's fired? Oh, yeah, piss off, Alistair. And now he's off TV because, get this, Jeremy, they don't want to bury him, so they take him off TV.
That is, so when you mentioned that earlier of like their way to not 50-50 people is just keep them off of television. Like only one person can just stand tall the entire time. You can't just build up multiple people. That seems kind of difficult now. You can't have multiple people winning. So instead of that, we'll just keep you off television so people forget about you, bring you back, have you win, and then eventually beat you. By the way, how sad was Kevin Owens talking about Aleister Black, putting him over? You could tell he felt bad for this man.
Yeah. Oh, big time. It's something I wrote for in the new Wrestle Talk magazine about how frustrating and satisfying the Roman Reigns storyline is, because you see how good WWE is capable of being. But throughout this year, we saw the build of Drew McIntyre and him being protected up until around WrestleMania. And then he faced dorks all summer. And around that time, we got Edge and Orton. And because there are no crowds, we did not get all you people promos. So that was good. And then when Edge got hurt, we started to see Sasha and Bailey get layers and layers and layers. And we're like, damn, that's really cool. And then around SummerSlam, they decided to hotshot everything with them, from the match to the defense and all that. So it's like, all right, well, there we go. But then since then, we've had Roman Reigns. So it's like at any given point this year, we've had something really, really, really good in WWE. There's just very little overlap between them. And yeah,
One
man.
good thing on the menu, Sean. Just like I said last week, you get one good thing on the menu. Everything else, it might taste good. It's a mystery food. Everything.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: filet mignon's on the menu. It's on the menu, and we see it.
Yeah.
But every time we're going there, like they're speaking there, no, he'll have the chicken tenders.